Russell Westbrook will not be a Laker next season. He's as good as gone. He has to be. There's too many signs pointing to him leaving. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you how bad of a season he had. Russell Westbrook was awful. On offense, on defense, he couldn't shoot. He couldn't hit his free throws. He couldn't even make his layups. He was a turnover machine. I'm not even going to bother looking up his stats because I know they're bad. And if they're not, then it's not an accurate reflection of how he played. Because he was a terrible fit with LeBron. He was a terrible fit with the rest of the team. So from a basketball standpoint, clearly the Lakers are better without him. Now the challenge will be moving him and his terrible contract. Westbrook is still under contract with the Lakers. He has a player option for next season, so he could technically be a free agent, but that's very unlikely. That wouldn't make any sense financially for Westbrook. He's owed $47 million next season if he picks up that option. There's no way any other team is paying him anywhere near that kind of money in free agency. So if he declines his option, he would be doing the Lakers a huge favor and would be screwing himself out of millions of dollars. This would be very financially irresponsible of him to not pick up the option. So he's most likely going to pick it up and still be under contract with the Lakers. But even with that ridiculous amount he's owed next season, he will still likely be traded. Yes, $47 million is an insane amount of money. And I doubt there's any team that would trade for Westbrook thinking he's going to live up to that contract and be a superstar. Only the Lakers were foolish enough to do that. Teams will be deterred from taking on that contract. Some teams simply don't have the cap space to take it. But at the end of the day, it's still an expiring contract. Teams with cap space can take on Westbrook's contract for assets like draft picks. And then next season, he's off the books. Or teams looking to unload bad contracts of their own that go on for multiple years, they could look to trade for Westbrook's contract, which ends after this season. So there are teams that could be interested in Westbrook. So now that we established that there is a market for Westbrook and it's not impossible to trade him, now let's see all the evidence we have so far that's showing that it's going to happen. Now there's been rumors that the Lakers are blaming LeBron and AD and Clutch Sports for pressuring them into trading for Westbrook. Now, I'm not about pointing fingers at this point. It happened. Now we gotta move on. How are you gonna fix it? That's what matters. But the fact that they're blaming people for this trade shows that they aren't happy with Westbrook. So they have to move him. There were many issues that led to the collapse of this season. It wasn't just Westbrook. But he definitely was the biggest issue, and the catalyst for a lot of their other problems. Obviously his terrible play. But his contract really handcuffed the Lakers because they didn't have the cap space to sign quality role players, which led to them signing all these veteran minimum guys and a bunch of dudes that are on their way to retirement. And there were rumors this season that both the Lakers and Westbrook's desire to part ways is mutual. And of course, there are actual trade rumors involving Westbrook and teams like Indiana, Charlotte, and Houston. Now, of course, these are all rumors, and no one has come out publicly saying that they want to trade Westbrook. Westbrook hasn't even said that he wants to leave. But the things that have been said hint at the Lakers and Westbrook parting ways. Now, nobody has gone out and publicly bashed Westbrook. Sure, LeBron and AD may say things like, "I love playing with Westbrook," but they kind of have to. They're still teammates. But no one is out there vouching or fighting for Westbrook to stay on the team. Saying "I love playing with Westbrook," that's non-committal and a very vague statement. Nobody has actually said, "I want Russ on this team next season." When Pelinka was asked about Russ being on the team next season, he simply said something along the lines of, "We're going to explore all our options to improve this team." Again, that doesn't sound like someone that wants Russell Westbrook on the team. Russ himself admitted that playing in LA has been a bad experience, both for him and his family. He talked about how he wasn't able to be himself, how he was never given a real chance. He doesn't like it here. He doesn't like the fans don't like him. He's publicly put down the Lakers fan base. He's talked about how it negatively affected his family, his son, his wife. He doesn't have a good relationship with the fan base or really anybody in the organization. And there's things like this. He deleted everything Laker related on his Instagram. And then he later deleted all his posts except for one, which is of him in a Laker uniform. But my guess is that the Lakers probably told him to do that so that he doesn't make it totally obvious that he doesn't want to be a Laker, and the Lakers don't lose all their leverage in trade talks. But he also liked to comment telling him to leave the Lakers. So putting all those things together, it's clear that he doesn't want to be a Laker. Now all these things, the interactions, the press conferences, the shade being thrown, they all bring validity to the rumors that have been out there. It's clear that both sides want to part ways. And it seems that is what's best for both parties. Now the challenge is actually making it happen. It won't be an easy task, but it's definitely not impossible. There has to be some sacrifice, and the Lakers may have to give up something they don't really want to in order to get rid of Westbrook. But if they want to improve this offseason, they have to get rid of him. And this is what's best for both Westbrook and the Lakers. If Westbrook wants to show that he can still be a valuable player in the league, he's going to have to do it on another team. You're not going to have the ball in your hands with LeBron as a teammate. And obviously, if the Lakers want to win a championship, they can't have a guy like Russ. So it's time to move on. The Lakers know it, Russ knows it, we know it. It's just a matter of time now.